Welcome back to Adventures in Search and Rescue in the Mountains of Northern New Mexico. This particular mission had its genesis in a broken relationship, a fight between a young man and his girlfriend. Originally, we were told that the subject was up by Nambe Lake, and so our task assignments contemplated that. We ultimately found out and had contact from the subject that his location was up by Lake Catherine, a significant difference and much longer hike to get there. As we dispatched teams, we learned that our subject was literally on the side of the peak to Santa Fe Baldy, between Santa Fe Baldy and Lake Catherine. Extremely steep and dangerous area, particularly for one who didn't have a lot of experience. In any event, as our teams approached and ultimately made sound contact with him, we were able to determine where he was and the best way to get him down. The team that had made contact was from Atalaya, extremely experienced high-angle mountaineers, and initially they advised Incident Base, I was the IC on this particular mission, that they couldn't get to him. It was just too steep, and they needed special high-angle equipment. As they described it to me, candidly, I had no idea what they were talking about. So I made contact with one of the high-angle team members on Santa Fe Search and Rescue. He advised me what it was and that he would pack it up from the Atalaya team shed. He was also a member of Atalaya, and would bring it out. In the interim, we had staged teams along the Windsor Trail. Keep in mind that up to Santa Fe Baldy is a 7-mile hike in each direction. Just prior to the last mile, there's a point called Windy Saddle. And that's the point where you can either hike up to Santa Fe Baldy or go over the side and down to Lake Catherine. What occurred here was ultimately the Atalaya team was able to hike up when they got a hold of him up to Santa Fe Baldy. That might be counterintuitive. Why would you hike up an extremely steep and difficult slope when you can hike down? Actually, it was the safest thing to do, and it was a wise decision by the ground pounders to hike up to Santa Fe Baldy and then hike down from it. Oftentimes, hiking down a hill in significant downfall and steep terrain, it's extremely easy to slip, trip on a branch, and become severely injured. It was a long and difficult search encompassing over 14 hours of total time in the field for the ground pounders on a very cold night. But when they finally rescued our subject and brought him back to Incident Base, we learned what had happened. He and his girlfriend had hiked out towards Nambe Lake. They got into a dispute at that location. And instead of him hiking back up to Nambe Lake, where she had gone, he decided to go out the Windsor Trail. When she came back down from the Windsor and couldn't find him, she eventually got out and called for rescue. And we all thought he'd gone back up to Nambe and they had missed each other. In fact, he'd continued out the Windsor all the way to Lake Catherine, where he got lost at the lake, asked people how to get back out. They gave him directions how to get back on the trail and up to Windy Saddle, but unfortunately, he got lost again and ended up on the side of Santa Fe Baldy, where he was ultimately found by the rescue team from Atalaya, brought up to Santa Fe Baldy, and brought out many hours later. All in all, it was a very difficult mission, and fortunately resulted in, as the vast majority of them do, in a successful rescue, and the subject was able to walk out and make amends with his girlfriend. Till next time.